Cool. So, how does it feel to be back with some new music?
It feels awesome, mate. I can tell you, it feels awesome.
It's
Loving every moment of it.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back. You know, it seems to be a lot of reactions and a lot of feedback with you guys coming back again. It's good to hear some new music from the Paul.
Yeah, it's great to be playing the stuff. I can't wait to get out and play the whole album live.
Yeah. Now, so obviously this is part of a new album that you guys are working on, then, right?
Yep, correct. Yeah.
How's that going?
Awesome, mate. Yeah, everything's done now. It's just going to get the last 8 tracks mixed and mastered, and that's it.
Oh, cool.
Done and done.
Nice. Is this the Payback's a Bitch single? Is this the first track that you guys worked on, or what was the reason for this one being the first sort of single?
It actually was the first song we did work on, but it's the reason why we went with that was kind of because it was the first one, and the first one that we started writing with Dan, our new guitarist. He's been in the band for 3 years now, but yeah, it was the first sort of song we started writing with him, and it's just a balls to the wall rock and pour song, you know. So
good song to sort of lead the way, I guess. You know, it's definitely a heavy hitter, that's for sure.
And you've heard it, yeah?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've listened to it a few times already. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh, thanks, man. It's awesome.
It's definitely got a real sort of punch to it, and I'd imagine you guys are just itching to play this one live as well. It's got a real sort of live feel to it at the same time.
Yeah, we've run it in a couple of times, but when we went to record, it just got defined, and we sorted out a few little parts that need to be sorted out, and yeah, now it's a ball terror. So yeah, we just can't wait to do it.
And what about the rest of the album? I mean, I don't know how much you can actually reveal it all, but compared to this single, what's the rest of the album sound like?
Yeah, pretty. There's a lot of hard hitting stuff in there, but there's a lot of deep and matured more music. Not middle of the road stuff. It's definitely all rock. It's just there's well, we always had a little bit of, you know, a side of us where, you know, we get a bit deep, you know, sometimes. But yeah, it's you know, we're a lot older now, so we've lived a few lives, all of us, and we've taken a few experiences, but we still like to make up a lot of shit and talk shit.
Yeah, of course.
Just have a laugh, you know, so take the piss out of ourselves.
So, I mean, from a creative aspect, you know, sort of songwriting and things like that, how much has changed since the last time you put out some new music?
Well, new guitarist, of course, made, you know, a new member in the band gives you a new lease of life too, and another input. And it's been a lot easier to work on songs and want to work on songs is another thing. But yeah, I mean, the passion's always been there. It's just things, you know, life goes on, and then an opportunity rises, and you know, you just go for it. So
yeah, I mean, what's been happening in the last 10 years ago? What have you guys been up to? And how long have you actually been working on the ideas for the album as well?
Well, Dan joined the band like 3 years ago, just last week, and it was about 6 months in, or not even that, 4 months in or something. We started working on some ideas, and then yeah, it was you know, we're sort of like, you know, when you're at the crossroads sometimes and you you want to keep going, and you're going, oh, God, it's all so fucking hard, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I mean, we've been doing it 35, 36 years now, this band, and just, but then, you know, you find what the matrix or whatever, and you lock in, and then we go, there's the angle. Let's go down that track. That's us, you know. You forget who you are sometimes, and or you start looking for the other music or what's going on in the world, and it's not necessarily you. And when you go back to basics, it's the best way to go.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you guys are kind of known for a certain sound as well. And I guess you're kind of conscious of having that trademark signature sound retained in your music. But obviously you've had, past experiences and life experiences along the way. So how much do you kind of know how much you want to retain, and how much do you want to kind of incorporate some new things that you've maybe never done before?
Oh, we're always trying new things. But if basically with us, if it's got no balls at the end of the day, we'll scrap it.
Yeah.
If it's got no class, we'll scrap it. If it's too classy, we'll scrap it. It's just got to have that core edge, that only we know. So yeah, if one member doesn't like something, we go in depth, if he doesn't like it, and then if it still comes down to that, and that one person doesn't like it, then fucking we throw it out, or we work like fuck on it, But
yeah. So you're obviously quite selective.
Saying?
I was going to say you obviously then you are quite selective on what you want to keep. What songs you want to keep and what songs you want to throw away. That filter must be very strong in the band.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the same as the band's business. We're all one, and that's it.
Yeah. Now I see some dates coming up for you guys doing some live shows, including a launch show at Cherry Bar, which I've had the fortunate position to be at a few times over the years. What a great place to do the launch show.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. Love the Cherry Bar. I love getting down to Melbourne too and running the muck.
Yeah. I must say,
I'm a Victorian.
It must be quite difficult, I guess, to plan shows and things like that, given what's going on around the world at the moment, I guess.
Oh, it has been, man. Like we got so many credits up on flights, from shows being cancelled that we were going to. You book the flights and they won't give you your money back. They'll give you credit though.
Yeah, sure.
and that's the way they get you. But now it's all starting to pay off. So these shows that are coming up, we're all got our flights already sorted. So yeah, that's good.
That's good. So when do we expect to have this new album coming out? Hopefully this year.
Oh yeah. We mid-year. Definitely no later than mid-year.
Okay. And planning on any touring at all? I mean, it must be difficult to say this, I guess, but do you have any sort of tours in mind to sort of go around the country and take it on the road?
Yeah, well, we got that Cherry Bar coming up. We got the 25th and 26th up here in Queensland at the Coolangatta Hotel, and one in Brisbane at the Hamilton, and then we're going down to Sydney on the 31st of March. Been playing Frankie's, nice. And then in April we're with Rose Tattoo. On the 22nd and 23rd at the Reevesby Workers in Sydney, and then the Mesbar at Walls End in Newcastle. And then on the 29th of April, we're doing that Fistful of Rock with all the other Aussie bands.
Yeah, cool. I mean, obviously that's, you guys obviously been Road Dogs and shared the stage with many great bands over the years. I mean, there must be some real good highlights over the years that you kind of remember all of the time, memories and stuff like that. What's the one thing that you think might stick out the most?
Oh, personally,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
about 10 just popped into my head. But I'll give you just a couple. When we were touring with AC/DC, and I jumped off stage, and at the end of the show, walking down the stairs, and Brian Johnson was standing at the bottom of the stairs, and he goes, "Listen, son, if I ever get the flu, can you fill in for me?" That was a bit of a highlight for me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, do it. Playing around the world, just playing to big crowds is always a highlight. When we played in Darwin, when we were touring with AC/DC, we played in Darwin back in our hometown where we started.
Yeah.
We played to like 24,000 people, and just to see the crowd just going and just rocking away, that was like, hair standing on the back of your neck sort of stuff. Loved it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's something that we all kind of cherish a lot, having those big crowds and stuff like that, which is obviously, given the situation, a little bit different now, I guess. But it's one of those things that we'd love to see you back on stage again and sort of rocking out in front of big crowds again. I mean, you guys must miss doing that stuff at the moment.
Oh, no, big time, mate. We're a live band, and that's what we've always done. And we just love playing live. And like we're supposed to play this Saturday, the Wallapalooza show festival on the Gold Coast here, and it's been raining that much that it flooded the whole showgrounds, and it's been postponed. So we're bummed out about that.
Sure, yeah. That's crazy. And with all the things happening, and then the weather plays a part in it as well.
I know. If it's not COVID, it's the weather.
Crazy. So let me ask you this one last question then, because it's something that I was always intrigued, because I kind of go back with you guys to the 90s when I was a teenager, listening to your music. And I always wondered, like, obviously you can hear the influences of who you kind of were inspired by, but you personally, what made you actually get into music and be in a band and stuff?
Oh, make me get into music. I was all me and my brother and my cousins, Warren and Julie. We used to like our parents and my cousins' parents, my auntie and uncle, and they'd always go, "Come on, kids, get the show happening," And we'd put on whatever music we'd put on, and we'd start like pick up a tennis racket. We just act it out, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's always loved doing that. Always loved listening to music. There was always music in the house, but it was when I started listening a lot to the Angels, and I just loved Doc Neeson's persona on stage, and that they were pretty much the first band I ever seen live. I was like 15. My stepbrother snuck me in the back door of a gig in Geelong, and I was just in awe. And I actually met Doc that night when I was like 15. Like,
oh wow,
and I was like in awe of everything. And then at school, listening to Rose Tattoo, and then I was sort of late listening to AC/DC, but then I went back and listened to all of the early stuff, and then I was completely hooked with AC/DC. And then growing up with, get into my high school years, started listening to, Motley Crue and like all the American bands and bands and. But Black Sabbath, my uncle got me into Black Sabbath, but it wasn't until I heard Whitesnake and David Coverdale's voice.
Yeah,
and I was in Cold Chisel and all the Aussie bands. Had Edge. I loved Barnsley's voice when I was a kid, and but it was mainly David Coverdale when I heard his voice. you know, how he can go right from the deep right to the very high. I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to sing like I like studied him, you know. And I still to this day love his voice, and that's sort of what got me into it.
And then obviously later on, you sort of shared the stage with some of these bands, which must have been a huge thrill.
Yeah. All those guys became very good friends with Doc Neeson, Angry Anderson. I'm still very good friends with. I mean, we're going on tour soon, and love Angry. Brian Johnson, me and him spent so much time. Angus and Malcolm spent so much time together on the tours in the US and that. It's just too many to think of. You know?
Well, it's great to have you back, and congratulations on the new song. I'll absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to hear the rest of the album. So we'll look forward to hearing that later on in the year. So look, thanks for your time, and look, hopefully fingers crossed that everything on the road happens for you, man, because we just don't know at this stage. We know what's going to happen. So hopefully it all goes well for you.
Yeah, same, man. Thank you for your time, and look out for the second single. You'll like that, man.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Cool, man. Take it easy.
No worries, man.